Today, you're going to hunt power in the darkness of the day.
I beg your pardon?
Tonight, you'll venture into those unknown hills. In the darkness, they are not hills.
What are they?
They are something else. Something unthinkable for you, since you have never witnessed their existence.
What do you mean, Don Juan? You always scare me with that spooky talk. He laughed and kicked my calf softly.
The world is a mystery, and not at all as you picture it.
He seemed to reflect for a moment. His head bobbed up and down with a rhythmical shake. Then he smiled and added,
Well, it is also as you picture it, but that's not all there is to the world. There is so much more to it. You've been finding that out all along, and perhaps tonight you will add one more piece.
His tone sent a chill through my body. What are you planning to do? I asked.
I don't plan anything. All is decided by the same power that allowed you to find this spot.
Don Juan got up and pointed to something in the distance. I assumed that he wanted me to stand up and look. I tried to jump to my feet, but before I had fully stood up, Don Juan pushed me down with great force.
I didn't ask you to follow me,
he said in a severe voice. Then he softened his tone and added,
You're going to have a difficult time tonight, and you will need all the personal power you can muster. Stay where you are and save yourself for later.
He explained that he was not pointing at anything, but just making sure that certain things were out there. He assured me that everything was all right and said I should sit quietly and get busy because I had a lot of time to write before total darkness had set in the land. His smile was contagious and very comforting. There was nothing else for me to do. I worked on my notes until it was too dark to write. Don Juan maintained the same position all the time I was working. He seemed to be absorbed and staring into the distance toward the west. But as soon as I stopped, he turned to me and said in a joking tone that the only ways to shut me up was to give me something to eat, or make me write, or put me to sleep. He took a small bundle from his knapsack. It contained pieces of dry meat. He handed me a piece and took another for himself and began to chew on it. He casually informed me that it was power food, which both of us needed on that occasion. We ate in complete silence until there was no more meat, and by that time it was quite dark. Don Juan stood up and stretched his arms and back. He suggested I should do the same. He said it was good practice to stretch the entire body after sleeping, sitting, or walking. Then Don Juan came very close to me and whispered in my right ear that I was supposed to follow him at very close range and imitate everything he did. He said that we were on a safe spot where we stood because we were, so to speak, at the edge of night.
This is not the night,
he whispered, stomping on the rock where we were standing.
The night is out there.
He pointed to the darkness all around us. He then checked my carrying net to see if the food gourds and my writing pads were secured. In a soft voice, he said that a warrior always made sure that everything was in proper order, not because he believed he was going to survive the ordeal he was about to undertake, but because that was part of his impeccable behavior. Instead of making me feel relieved, he created the complete certainty that my doom was approaching. I wanted to weep. Don Juan was, I was sure, completely aware of the effect of his words.
Trust your personal power. That's all one has in this whole mysterious world.